Greetings, online investors, and welcome to another Investor Roadshow presentation from the Online Investment Conference. I'm Peter Norman, founder of the OIC, where our goal is providing you with investment ideas worth watching. To stay updated on our latest ideas, be sure you hit the subscribe button below. Most importantly, be sure to try out the interactive slide list by pressing the flashing button in the bottom right-hand corner. An interactive index will pop up and let you go to any part of the presentation you want to watch instantly and accurately, putting you in control of your presentation watching experience. We've got another great idea to share with you today. Getchell Gold is a Nevada-focused gold and copper exploration company trading on the CSSE under the symbol GTCH, on the OTCQB as GG LDF, and on Frankfurt as GGA1. The company is primarily directing its efforts on its advanced stage 100% owned Fondaway Canyon Gold Project, a past gold producer with a large mineral resource estimate. Mike Sieb, president of Getchell Gold, joins us here today to tell us the story. Welcome, Mike.
Glad to be here, Peter.
Mike, the floor is yours. Tell us about Getchell Gold.
Greetings. Today I'm going to be talking about the advanced exploration stage Fondaway Canyon Gold Project in Nevada, a project that has a very rich history and an even richer future. You're looking here at the north slope of the Fondaway Canyon Gold Project, and as you can see, there's a dense road network and a couple of small-scale open pits, and gold was discovered here in the 1970s. And very quickly, those discoverers realized how good a thing that they had, because very shortly, they put this project into production and they were pouring a gold bar a month for many years. You can see our drill rig up in the upper right of the slide. It's actually stationed in one of those old pits, the Colorado pit. And that is the location of not only one of our major discoveries, but two of our major discoveries on this project. The Fondaway Canyon Gold Project is one of the more prominent developing exploration plays in a world-class mining district. Before we get into the presentation proper, I'm just going to put up our standard cautionary language. The Fondaway Canyon Gold Project is located in Nevada, the #1 most favorable ranked mining jurisdiction in the world, and it's ranked 5th in the world in gold production, producing 4.5 million ounces of gold annually, which equates to US $9 billion of gold. That's a very impressive stat. So we're definitely here in a world-class district, and the Fondaway Canyon Gold Project is one of the more up-and-coming projects in a world-class district. It's located a very short drive northeast of Reno, and it's well supported by our remote field office and core logging facility in Fallon. It's just an excellent location to be operating from, quick access, and within a under 2-hour period from Reno, you could be right at the drill. Zooming into the property scale, you're looking at our main east-west gold corridor. It's a very broad corridor, at least half a kilometer wide. Shown here in highlighted in red, you can see some of the more prominent gold-bearing shear veins, and in highlighted in brown, some of the historic open pits. Looking on the left, the more prominent one is the Southmouth pit, and Tenneco, in a short 18-month period in the late 80s, produced 5,000 ounces of gold just from that one pit alone. A very simple open pit operation and a heap leach pad just out on the pediment. Where Getchell Gold has been focusing is Getchell Gold has been focusing on basically a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer area, the central area, and it forms a major northeast-southwest structural nexus for gold emplacement that occurred over a very long period of time, and a significant amount of gold has been trapped just within this one area. Even beyond that, the broad 4 kilometer long stretch, 2.5 mile long stretch of corridor here has been highly underexplored. So this is one of the major areas here where not only have we found a lot of gold, but there's a lot more gold to be found. And what did we find? Partway through our third drill campaign, and just utilizing 18 drill holes, we doubled the historic resource to a very impressive 550,000 ounces of gold in the indicated category, and 1.5 million ounces of gold in the inferred at very good gold grades for the region. And even more impressive than that is, besides the sizable resource we delineated in just 18 drill holes, it remains completely open. Our most peripheral drill holes are as strong, if not stronger, than what we see at surface. The next number of slides are really critical to get the point across and convey not only what we've accomplished in a very short period of time, but also the upside potential of the project. You can see on the plan map, and these are the colored drill traces of the historic drill holes. They were mainly isolated upon known and shallow occurrences. And what we've delineated is two major discoveries, the Colorado Southwest Zone and the North Fork Zone, that have been outstanding, to say the least. And I've just thrown up a couple of examples of some of the characteristic intercepts that up on the left there. And for example, the Colorado Southwest Zone, hole number 8, reported 1.4 grams of gold over 203.9 meters. And the North Fork Zone, hole number 2217, that encountered 3.8 grams per ton gold over 86 meters. Not only these holes are impressive, but all the holes are. Every drill hole that you see highlighted in white, which is our 26 drill holes in total, all of them, 100% success rate, all of them intersected substantive amounts of gold. And some of our most peripheral holes, like the one I just highlighted earlier, hole number 8, you can see that hole number 8, this hole right here that I'm highlighting, that is the most peripheral on-strike hole, and there's absolutely no drilling to the northwest there, and that hole intersected 200 meters of mineralization. So really, to try and convey, again, what we accomplished and what the upside potential is, I'm going to make slices out of just two different sections, the Colorado Southwest section first, and then the North Fork section. So going to the section, you can see where things sat back in 2020 before a single Getchell drill hole. Most of the historic holes you can't see because they're hidden underneath, and they're very, very shallow, very short holes, just delineating a resource there around the Colorado pit. And subsequent to that, the existing operators followed the mineralization down at a fairly steep angle. And so you know that if you're thinking about a potential mining operation, a steep angle of mineralization is not the most preferential one to develop into a large pit. Shallow orientation is way better because you can encompass a lot more mineralization and you have a lot lower stripping ratio. So that's what you're looking for. The preferential geometry is pretty shallow. And so when we came across the data and we rolled up our sleeves and took a look at all of the data, we said, yes, there are strong indications that the mineralization is steeply dipping at surface. But what we believed is that the mineralization underneath the canyon floor shallowed and broadened. And so there was a hypothetical inflection point there. And an example of that is you could kind of see on the section, out in the middle of nowhere, right in the middle there was a hole that was drilled in 1985 that intersected better than 100 meters of close to 1 gram material. And that's the homestake hole that I'm circling now. And then another 250 meters away, there was a hole drilled in 2017 that intersected a 46.6 meter zone of mineralization, and it ended in mineralization. So these are kind of like key indicators that really ticked us to that from what has been found in the past is only like the touching just upon the tip of the mineralization. And there should be, theoretically, a large body of mineralization that had yet to be drilled. And so, lo and behold, 3 drill campaigns later, you can see on the right how much mineralization has been found on this section. I mean, all of this here is our new drilling. We've extended the mineralization an extra 250 meters down dip. And as you can see, not only does the mineralization shallow, but it also thickens as well. And you can see the pervasive amount of mineralization in this drill horizon. And so we basically, like high-fived and everything was wonderful because within just a extra halo of mineralization, or 250 meters, we doubled the historic resource to 550,000 ounces in the indicated and 1.5 million ounces in the inferred. And that is just by drilling an extra 250 meters. And more important than that, 250 meters away, we know that there's mineralization and strong mineralization as well. So we do have a significant confidence that the mineralization continues and to a significant degree. And so superimposing our 2023 mineral resource estimate open pit model, you can see, and what becomes apparent almost immediately is how much gold is colored and encompassed within that pit. Also, the geometry of the pit is highly preferential to open pit mining and maximizing open pit mining, and the mineralization starts at surface. So if you envision a future production and operation here, you can readily see where the initial pit is going to be, and it's going to be tacking right into mineralization right away. This is almost like a perfect scenario for an open pit model. And once again, the other thing that I really have to stress here is the openness to it. This is the mineralization that we found to date. Everything that you see in black here is the areas that just haven't been drilled. And so there is a high confidence that the mineralization continues, and we do not know. We have yet to find any limits to the mineralization, and we have no concept of how big this possibly can be. Moving on 300 meters to the southeast, I'm going to run the exact same exercise through the North Fork section. And this, once again, is what the North Fork section looked like in 2023 before any Getchell drilling occurred. Most of the drilling you can't see because it was highlighting the high-grade mineralization right here underneath the Half Moon pit. And the majority of this drilling, they traced, it's about a 50-meter wide North Fork shear vein that they followed. And they followed this quite consistently for about 400 meters on strike. But there were a couple of intercepts in there that didn't really fit that narrative. And so what we did is we superimposed the same model on the North Fork section, and it fit to a T. You can see 500 meters away through blackness once again. There's no drilling here. There's an intercept that was drilled in 2017. Very nice grade, 2.5 grams over 24 meters that ended in mineralization. So guess what our theory was once again, is there should be a broad zone of mineralization from where we've seen the drilling before to where that 2017 drill hole is. And that was our target zone, another half-kilometer target zone. So after 3 campaigns of drilling, what we encountered on the North Fork zone was just, astounding. Not only was there significant and pervasive mineralization that we encountered where we predicted it to be, it was incredibly thick, and more than that, we found mineralization beyond our expectations. It exceeded our expectations. And the North Fork zone is different than the than the Colorado Southwest zone. The North Fork zone is of higher grade. It sort of like has a broader penetration and permeability of the mineralization, and it has a potential indication of showing the deeper roots to just a very robust mineralizing system. So after 3 campaigns of drilling, again, all of those drill holes hitting substantial bodies of mineralization, we had only gone 250 meters down through our half-kilometer long target zone. So once again, not only did we find a lot of gold here, but there's a high confidence that there's a lot more gold to be found. And superimposing our 2023 mineral resource open pit model, you can see the bulk of the mineralization that's encapsulated with it. Just imagine what additional drilling will do. It'll just draw out the walls of the open pit and potentially increase the resource quite substantially and start to fill in areas that we have high confidence that there's additional gold mineralization. But the one thing that in regards to the North Fork zone that really has to be stressed is the high grade and aspect to the mineralization. At North Fork, we've hit the highest grade times thickness gold intervals that the 40-year history of the project has seen. And here's two examples. Two near-surface intercepts, hole number 16 that intersected better than 10 grams gold over 25 meters, and hole 17 that intersected close to 18 grams gold over 10 meters of mineralization. This is a huge boon to any potential economic analysis of the operation. I mean, these are high-grade jewelry boxes. And if anybody is familiar with Nevada, hitting not only high-grade, but substantive high-grade material is a really key indicator that potentially Fondaway Canyon is not just your run-of-the-mill, like gold project with like a broad zone of mineralization. This could potentially be and comparable to a tier 1 Nevada asset, and Nevada is a world-class mining district. So I think even though after 3 drill campaigns, quite reasonably, we can be, or Fondaway Canyon can still be in its formative years of development, working itself to a tier 1 gold asset. And so just to ensure that, hey, we can potentially encompass all the gold that we're going to find, what we did in 2023 is we increased our claim package by 50%. Another thing to stress is that we control the entire gold corridor at Fondaway Canyon. There are no competitors, and we own it 100%. So as the drilling progresses and we find more gold, we can encompass it all well within our control. In summary, there are so many positive attributes to highlight here. Fondaway Canyon is extremely impressive. Looking at the grade, the geometry, the orientation, it is so amenable to potential open pit mining. The mineral reserve estimate, the mineralization remains completely open along strike. And again, we've only been just focusing on the central area. In the central area itself, you've seen by the models that I've shown you in the cross sections, that there is a high confidence that you're going to increase the gold here by just additional drilling. And this is only the one area. If you remember the southmost pit, off to the edge here on the west, I mean, they recovered within 18 months 5,000 ounces of drilling just by scraping off the surface there. We have yet to even drill underneath some of these areas. So the entire Fondaway Canyon Gold Corridor, that east-west corridor, has the potential to really add and accumulate gold resources with additional drilling. And so looking at milestones moving forward here, we're embarking on, trying to migrate up the confidence spectrum from a very impressive and large resource estimate to now our first preliminary economic assessment to really encapsulate the potential of the operation. And so that's what we have planned for the first part of this year. For the second part of this year, we're looking at an aggressive drill program because we have more ample targets than we can possibly drill. You can readily see any place, in that central area to drill. Every drill hole that we've hit has encountered gold. We have high confidence we're going to find more gold. So this is a really dynamic project, a dynamic company, and we're working within Nevada, which is the ranked number 1 jurisdiction in the world. And also, if you're a believer in a burgeoning gold market, I mean, you've seen great stability in the price of gold. Every indication and a flock of analysts are really touting that we're entering into a major gold market. So you encapsulate all these factors in, and you've definitely got a winner here. And so with absolute confidence, there are 2 things I can say in regards to the Fondaway Canyon Gold Project. One, it's undeniable. We have found a lot of gold here. And more importantly, 2, there's a lot more gold to be found. And so Getchell Gold Corp, we trade on the CSSE under the symbol GTCH, under the OTCQB under GG LDF, and on the Frankfurt exchange under the symbol GGA1.
Mike, excellent presentation. Now let's delve into a few questions. Your first question, are you saying that after 3 years of drilling, you haven't found the limits to the gold mineralization?
One of those things I can say with certainty is in all my career, I've never been involved in such a, people will normally say a successful drill campaign, but I've never been involved in such a successful series of drill campaigns here. Every drill hole that we drilled in that central area has hit substantial intervals of gold mineralization, and the most peripheral holes, like the furthest ones down dip, the furthest ones left and right along strike, they have hit some of our better intercepts of mineralization, and there's no drilling beyond that. That resource that we've highlighted, I mean, that the only thing that limits that resource right now is that's the extent of our drilling. And so this project is wide open. And I do believe that, I mean, as the years go on and people will come to appreciate how robust a mineralizing system this is and how much of a prominent and developing project this is going to become.
So how big can it be?
I guess the succinct answer to that is I don't know, because normally you'll get indications of the system weakening, or like how you're limited by geology or structures. Here we have not encountered, and we don't foresee any potential limits in that regard as well. So the strength, the grade, the thickness, the drill holes that are still 250 meters away that ended in mineralization, at the end of the day, the simple answer is I don't know how big this can get to.
What can we expect for the drilling program in 2024?
Well, 2024 is going to be an excellent year. We have some, major milestones happening. One of them, the first one that's going to happen this first half of the year, is a progression of 3 years of drilling. We've come out with an extremely sizable resource, and now it's time to encapsulate a mine model, like an actual operation model around it, and come up with a preliminary economic assessment. And that is not only going to take the project, but it's going to take Getchell Gold to that next tier of analysis. When those analysts start looking at you, and those hedge fund managers and the people who start to really contribute and throw big dollars around, I mean, that is a major threshold that to attain. And that's what we're looking forward to here about mid-year, coming up with our preliminary economic assessment. But that's only the start. That's sort of the foundation for evaluation of the asset. What's really untapped or unrealized is the gold that has yet to be discovered. And so for the second half of this year, just to kind of keep the momentum going, we're going to embark on a really serious drill program that is going to start to, continue to expand on the mineralization and start to give people a snapshot of the potential here and how big it can be.
How much has been spent by Getchell on drilling programs to date?
Well, we spent a little over $5 million on 3 drill campaigns. And if you look at it, $5 million and the mineral resource estimate and the gold that we discovered with that $5 million, we have one of the lowest costing high ounces of gold discovery rates in the region. That's very impressive. And it speaks to how resourceful or use of resources we are, and prudent in that, but also it speaks to how good the project is, that every time we put a drill hole in the ground, we just come up with more gold. I do want to stress that it's really worth having people take a look at this project and Getchell Gold Corp, because you don't run across something like this very often.
How far away are you from a preliminary economic assessment?
We've initiated some of the foundational reports that will go into the preliminary economic assessment. We will be updating the resource estimate. Something that a lot of people don't know is that 8 of the drill holes that we drilled at the latter part of our last season of drilling were excluded from the mineral resource estimate, so they're going to be additive to it. And all those 8 drill holes, like all our other drill holes, have hit mineralization, so they will be additive. So it's going to be a real fun, for me anyways, it's going to be real fun, first half of this year, because it's going to be the compilation of bringing all the attributes together and working towards producing a PEA by mid-year.
Are there any ESG issues of concern in your project area?
It's another fortunate position. Where we're located, there aren't that many stakeholders in the area to speak of. The largest one, for example, if you look on this slide here, out in the distance, that's Carson Sinks. That's the Naval Air Force testing ground. When I was talking about where our core logging facility is located in Fallon, if you're not aware of it, Fallon is home to the Fallon Air Station, basically home of Top Gun. And so we're in an active, military training region. And so they're our major stakeholder. We have no neighbors to the north of us, to the south of us, to the east of us. And one of the things that arose about a year ago was a clarification and a termination of any of the wilderness areas around us. So even the environmental aspects of that have been clarified. And we're in Nevada. So if you put all the pieces together and you kind of compare any other place in the world, and there are some very problematic jurisdictions in the world today to be trying to advance and develop a mining project. Here, it's one of the best places in the world, one of the places where not only the company, but the shareholders of those companies can have confidence in that your investment isn't going to be taken away from you. People aren't necessarily going to come out of the woodwork and kind of, cause you problems. It is what it is. And that's one of the reasons why I am focusing here on this project and in this jurisdiction, is because I also have high confidence that I can move this project forward and everybody could be a winner.
Could you comment on proximity to infrastructure and availability of qualified personnel?
I mean, the one word to say again is Nevada. I mean, Nevada has 23 producing gold mines, and those are only the gold mines. The number of operations, exploration projects, support, I mean, even in the town of Fallon, which you wouldn't expect much, it's a full service town. Walmart superstores and everything you can possibly need. And we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Reno. Just out in the distance there, you can imagine that's where the I-80 is. That's the main artery across Nevada all the way to Salt Lake City. It's the best of both worlds. We are in a location where we have easy access to pretty much any support or resources we may look for, but at the same time, we're removed enough that we don't have any neighbors. There's no issues in your backyard to appear here. So it's a wonderful, and I'd like to use the word balance, but it's actually the best of both situations.
What are your medium and long-term corporate goals for Getchell Gold?
We've just accomplished a major goal, which was to acquire 100% of the Fondaway Canyon Gold Project. And that acquisition of this 100% is yet to be reflected in our share price. So one of our next goals is to basically put the word out, what I'm doing here, to try and convey how good a project this is. The amount of not only inherent value, but potential value will be developed here and get our share price up. I think if somebody just takes a quick look at us, they'll readily see we're well below our foundational value, and there is so much upside here. It's hard to pass up. As well as our next goal then is to get a sponsor. We have yet to get a major catalyst sponsor here to bring in the large bucks into the company. And that's the next thing on the horizon. And once we start moving along, publish our preliminary economic assessment, we start drilling again, it's all going to fall into place.
What do you see as your main growth drivers?
The main growth drivers are our milestones, and these are very reasonable and impactful milestones in front of us. Again, that's the preliminary economic assessment and drilling and just finding more gold. I tell you the story, and I've gone through the presentation, and I call up just one section, the Colorado Southwest section. And it's very evident that, okay, we found a lot of gold here, but you have high confidence that you're just going to accrete more gold as you drill more. And so that is going to be also a major driver for people to not only realize the potential of Fondaway Canyon, but that it's not just a project out of many in Nevada. It is going to be one of the more prominent projects, and people are going to start paying attention.
All right, and that concludes our question period and our presentation for today. As I mentioned, Getchell Gold is listed on the CSE as GTCH, on the OTCQB as GG LDF, and on Frankfurt as GGA1. If you want to learn more about Getchell Gold and the Fondaway Canyon Project or the recent news release, don't hesitate to reach out. They're always open for a chat, so give them a call and they'll give you a complete run-through of the slide deck, answer any questions you may have, and provide any and all the answers you need to do your due diligence on a potential investment in Getchell Gold. You can reach them by email at info@getchellgold.com or call them directly at 647-249-4798 or toll free at 1-877-684-0460. They love talking with investors. And Mike, before we bring this session to a close, do you have any final remarks you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, a couple of things. There are a number of videos, very short, like 5 or 7 minute videos out there that really tell the story of what I tried to convey today. And so for a very short, quick glance, you can really absorb quite a lot of information and make your own opinion. I do really want everybody out there to just take a look at us. I don't know if you're going to be as firm a believer as I am, but you're going to readily see the attributes that I've been trying to convey. Thank you.